Cool. So yeah, I was saying that it occurs to me that if you just go to a professional who can professionally, quickly, cleanly just remove all the hair, then this doesn't become as laborious a process as it would seem.
Yes, it was like one of the fastest haircuts I've ever received in my life. Just right off. And then so there was this fun little moment where he's like, "Hey man, so I understand, I get you're trying to get rid of the purple, right?" I'm like, "Yeah." It's like, "Well, I mean, it's growing out. You could just like save it." I'm like, "No. All of it."
Yeah.
And he looked at me and went, "All of it?" I'm like, "All of it."
I mean, you can't explain the story every time.
It's really hard. It's getting like, okay, so the purple hair, I can explain. Oh, it's a bet. This one is like, I look like I'm lying because I am.
Yeah, well,
when I say, oh no, this was the second part of the bet.
Well, I mean, now you're a cop is what's happening. Just, you are an officer of the law.
Somebody said I look like fucking Farva from fucking Super Troopers, and it harmed my ass. It harmed my spirit.
Do you own any aviators?
Yes.
Oh shit.
That's my sunglasses of choice.
Well then, yeah. this is a problem.
Yeah, man.
Like, our interactions might get a little bit stiff, depending.
I'm not worried about it.
Yeah, you shouldn't be. Yeah, that's correct. That's the way this works, actually. Is boy. Well, all right. You
want to know what the biggest difference is? I'm so cold. I'm like, when you go outside and you put your hat on and you're like, oh wow, that makes like an incredibly huge difference. That's crazy. Well, I took off my body's hat and now I'm cold inside.
Like when the dog shivers after a cut. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny because like I went to a barber to just do the beard, and like I just showed a picture of like a beard that I wanted, and the person had short hair too, and the dude kind of looked at me and he bugged out eyes and went like, "Top 2?" And I was like, no.
You're like, no.
Stay away from there. That's fine. Just down here, thank you. But yeah, I mean, I guess, that how long you think before I can already see stubble coming in there, so you're gonna.
Oh yeah, dude. This. In order to maintain this, I'm going to be making a second appointment to get it back down.
So that's the question is are you going to let the 5 o'clock come in but keep it razor and greased up top? Are you going to be keeping the top maintained?
Yes, I'm going to be. In 2 weeks, I will shave down what has managed to claw itself back, because like this is already coming through. In about a week, it'll be like, that kind of gray, but still very bald, right? And then after that, like I'll be visibly having like red, and it's like no, it has to be egg.
And the order from on high was that the chops are staying. So
the order from on high was that once all of this nonsense is over, the chops are to return. That was my instructions.
It's must be weird to experience a visceral amount of face silhouette changes in such a short period of time. Like,
it's been a lot, actually.
Yeah, that must actually do something to your identity and your mirror.
I've gone through some very extreme, like head silhouette changes in like 2 months. And I remember like I had this like with the purple, I was like, the chops was like nothing. Like, all right, okay. The purple, I was like, oh, that's okay. And then I got used to it after about a week. And then after 3 weeks, I'm like, I'm done with this.
Right. Yeah.
I am starting to get used to it, like for real. And I don't like that. That's weird. I'm actually a lot more used to this because I mean, I've cut my hair short, but not this short.
I feel like I'll always remember the first time I put a little bit of like color in my dreads.
Yeah.
and I was like hyperventilating almost. I was like, "Oh my god, I can't believe I'm doing like this is so extreme. Why am I doing this?" It was a weird like, "Oh fuck. Oh shit, did I fuck up? Is this horrible?" And I feel like, after a while it just means nothing, same thing for like piercings and so on. But there's a little hint of that every time a drastic change occurs.
So, like, I got to ask you. So, the whole time you've known me, I've been in some various state of male pattern baldness. So, like, being precious about my hair has not been a factor.
Right. Okay.
If I were to do something dramatic like fucking go purple, I can shave the whole fucking thing off and get back to where I was in 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Like, it's like that. You can't do that. I remember you went blondie dreads for a while.
Yep.
Then you had blue, you had green, yellow, and whatnot.
All of it.
Okay, so when you dye a dread, like let's say you bleach it, right? Yeah. How long is it going to take for that to revert back to the original hair color?
So it doesn't
to grow the whole dread back.
Yeah, it doesn't just suddenly turn back to its original hair color. Like you have
no, it fades.
You do have to. It does fade, but then it fades to something that's like just kind of dark and muddy. So you have to dye back to black, basically.
Oh man, that is a lot of fucking work.
Or you could let the tips go out like ombre, like people like they do with your hair, and then you can more or less like be like at a certain point in the dread, I'm okay with it changing. But if I want it to go back all black, you got to do that.
Okay, so that's the context I needed, because you're telling me you were freaking out when you were dyeing your hair, because I was freaking out when I was dyeing my hair because that was dramatic.
Yeah.
That was a lot.
Yeah.
But I knew for a fact it wasn't permanent. It wasn't even close to permanent.
And what I would say too is like what I used to do is I used to have just the tips, and I'd mess around with those because I'm like, cut them, that's fine. But whenever I did a full dread, those were the ones where I'd be like, oh shit, oh fuck, that's a big deal, because it is like
oh, this particular one looks good in this color
in this way. Yeah, because those are permanent changes. Those are permanent changes. Whenever you do a full one, that's it. But yeah, I there is a like, I was surprised to learn, I guess, that like the full on Michael Jordan like super shiny bald like is an upkeep process that's not that far from doing regular trimming. It takes work.
I'm gonna have visibly like red sheen on my hair in like 5 days.
Is the boy reacting to the face changes?
He doesn't give a shit.
Nothing, huh?
Doesn't give a shit,
man. Because that's
Paige and him met me at the barber, and I walked out and like, hey buddy, look at Deadass head, and he walked up and he went
great
and slapped me on the top of the head a couple times and went ooh.
Because I've been conditioned from seeing all these videos online where like dad comes home and he shaved his beard, and then the babies cry and they lose their minds, right?
Okay, so that was my family. My dad, you've met my dad.
Yeah.
My dad has a mustache. My dad is one of those guys that just was born with a mustache. But every couple of years, and I mean every couple of years, he would go, fuck it, and he'd shave his mustache. And I'm like 100% convinced that he fucked up trimming it, and like would be like, shit, I can't Charlie Chaplin this. Got to start over, right? And that would be like a family emergency. My mom would be so upset. Like she'd be distraught, and me and my brother and sister would be like, oh fucking
and like depending on your age, like that reaction is still like that's strong. But I'm thinking back to even just the simplicity of my nephew, that maybe like when he was like 1 year old, 1.5 or so, like he was hanging out we were hanging out most of the day, and at one point I just kind of was messing around and I pulled my ponytail out and put the dreads down in front, and he freaked out and screamed and ran, and like from his perspective it looked like a head crab just suddenly descended onto my head. Like he couldn't understand the concept of the hairstyle changing and what was happening, and the silhouette was too much of a scary change, and all these black things were suddenly just going and it was nightmare, and like the way he screamed was like a real like, oh, okay, kids, let me make sure that like at least with my girl, I'm like I'm always showing her different versions and whatnot, so that she's just used to that idea being like, no, that's how hairstyle and it changes. Because the way that kid screamed was like death was coming. It was wild.
Yeah, so I've clearly dodged that bullet with my guy because, like, you know, when he's one, I shaved the beard off because it comes back in like a week, you know, and then I, you know, this and that, and now the purple, and then the mutton chops, now this. Like, I don't think there's anything I could do to my appearance at this point that would phase him at all. I would just become green dad or, you know, whatever the fuck.
That works. That's good because, you know, I mean, well, whatever. We've discussed the idea of like, oh, what does dad do for work? You're an internet clown? Okay, well,
clown.
Literally
Clown
internet
dad.
clown.
Yeah. Oh, I forgot that he saw all the clown stuff. Yeah, he liked Violent J, like, clown.
Nice.
Which is great. Good for him.
I mean, you know, like these are all clowns that are meant to intimidate more than to entertain. So if he's rolling with them, then
much like all clowns. I don't like clowns.
Yeah, well, I mean, I
don't like it.
Do you have the fear? Do you have the phobia?
So, like, no. But like, I find them like a little unsettling.
They are.
And I guess like a little bit. But like, I've never looked at a clown and been like, ooh, yay.
Yeah.
Right? Ever. I've just always been like, like, it's not fear, more like distaste or apprehension.
Coulrophobia. Coulrophobia. Yeah. That is no that makes sense because they're not settling when you look at them. It's exaggerations in ways that are really weird and yeah, like the making the eyes look so big, making the face look so big, and it's like too happy, you know, like it's very, very much.
I respect a sad clown more than a happy clown. They're more honest about what's going on in clown shit.
Yeah, I feel like it's kind of like fear of heights in a way, where it's like not everyone is afraid of heights, but everyone should feel a bit like, well, that can kill me, so I don't like that.
I used to be so afraid of heights that thinking about being in a high place would kill my ass. Like the idea of standing on top of a cliffside would make me like woozy. And then I went to the CN Tower. And my brother and I kept daring each other to jump up and down on the glass.
And you did
and
it.
Because we weren't pussies.
Yeah, exactly.
We fucking did it. And after that, because have you jumped up and down on the glass in that thing?
No.
Oh, it sucked. Yeah. It's very scary.
Yeah. You know who else wasn't a pussy? That guy that shoulder checked the fucking glass when teaching his students.
That's right. That's right.
How unbreakable it was. You know, the guy that fucking he Urian shoulder tackled the glass on the 80th floor every morning to show those kids just how unbreakable it was. That worked out. He was right.
The glass didn't break.
It all came out in one piece, I believe. According to the story.
In one piece. It was the fastenings to the wall that failed.
God. Crush. See, kids? See? Kill.
That's a great story. That's a great story. I love that story.
Look, I just had that thing where I went up to my cousin's like super high up, whatever floor. You're in the dozens of floors. You're in the death drop. It doesn't even matter how high we're at this point. And I'm like, okay, like looking down, my stomach goes, ooh, and I'm like, I know this is not rational. I know that this should be something where even 4 or 5 floors up, you should feel this way or so. But you kind of I'm like, I'm going to do that thing where I keep a little bit of distance away.
Just a little bit.
And then I kind of realized after like, I went out and exposed myself a bit more to like, you know, uncomfortable height edge situations. And then I also remember when during the like honeymoon and stuff with me and Punch Mom, I remember in Quebec City I saw some people sitting on the ledge of like a bridge just being really irresponsible and legs dangling off to death type of thing just because you know, they're the whimsy of it. And I realized I'm like, it's not the action. I have the fear of heights part is there, but it's way less pronounced than the fear of someone I don't trust behind me being stupid or scaring me or pushing me off, right?
That means you should have a similar fear of standing too close to the edge of the metro.
Yes, exactly. And so when there's the
Because
yellow
that's the
line,
same thing.
yes, when the yellow line is there and people are standing beyond it and the train is coming, I'm like, are you out of your mind? Why are you so ignorant? Why do you not care about this? Why would you do, why, like, I just don't understand that. And I realize it's the exact same thing. I'm like, it's not the
Yeah.
situation, it's the people behind me potentially, and not just for the sake of like, oh, that's a crazy person that's going to shove you. The person who's going to be an idiot and go, I'm going to pretend to shove you and
Yeah.
freak you out, and an accident might happen because people are equally as stupid in that scenario too. It's
That's
that
right.
that the fear gets brought in from.
The same fear of that guy on the escalator could just turn around and stab me with a syringe, and I would be not fast enough to stop them.
Sure.
Same exact thing. Same exact thing.
But like, I'm thinking that there's something to the idea that like the subway slammer and the friend you have that's pretending to subway slam you are equally threatening.
It's a fine line. It's a fine line.
I'm swinging full power on both, you know, for the record. Like it's not ha ha, it's we're fighting now. Like, just that's it, man. You know. Yeah, anyways, that's kind of the deal. You just like, I don't know if you trust who's standing behind you or not, but you should feel the same way you do standing at the edge of a train as you do standing on a cliffside.
So I think the trick to be like, because a lot of people say they're not afraid of heights, or they would not think they're afraid of heights, and like, heights is a relative term, but it's also something that you don't actually have to deal with in like a huge variety of situations. If you fly, yeah, you're gonna have to deal with heights, right? But you live in, like, you know, Alberta, and you're not going to work at a skyscraper, there's no heights to speak of. There are no heights that you will encounter.
I mean,
at any point.
If you're a rig pig and you do one of those like super high up station things, then yeah, you got one of those jobs. But
so yeah, that's the trick, is like, hey, go watch a video of somebody changing the light bulb on like an antenna, and those POV fucking antenna, like, gotta climb up the 2-mile tower to change the singular light bulb.
To change that one light bulb.
Watch that. And if your body doesn't go, then you're fine. You're not afraid of heights. But mine does.
Right.
I look at those videos and I start to get dizzy, man. It's very intense.
And also, there's these like the super manly changing the oil rig drill videos that they have,
guys,
where you wrap the chain around and you go and you do the twist, and it's the most manual labor ass hard man that you've ever seen. But it's also one of these things where like, and they're working super high up, like you're on a little platform that, like, yeah, if the wind blows a little bit and it goes boop, you're all gone, that's it forever. And like, whenever I see those videos and they're all greased up and doing that, it's Superman at the beginning of Man of Steel, you know, on the boat type of thing. It's that kind of energy. But you're also like, every time I see that, there's always someone in the comments going, "Hey, so I work on oil rigs in this in the modern day, and anyone who does this is insane. There's no reason to do it this dangerously anymore. Jumping over the wires and chains that can rip you to pieces.
Step to skip it.
It's just for filming on Instagram and sticking on TikTok and getting the likes and whatnot. Like, anyone who's doing this officially should, 1, be wearing a helmet, 2, bright high vis, 3, tons of like keeping the area clean and not full of oil and all this stuff. So the guy who's shirtless, who's just got his hair blowing in the wind and is twisting it and looking all hot and doing his old bit or whatever, is just gonna get everybody killed. So they don't have a whole lot of life preservation about them.
It reminds me of my father showing me safety techniques with like woodworking and stuff like that. And then my dad would just not do any of the safety stuff he just showed me was really important. And he'd be like, I don't need to do that, I know what I'm doing. And I'm like, Dad, you are missing a bunch of little bits and pieces of your body. You electrified yourself fixing our VHS player. You once thought that your harness was for pussies and just fell off a build site.
Oh my god!
You're super wrong.
You know, it's just you see the Like there's a whole collection of just like whatever OSHA videos you can find online where it's like, all right, so here's the fact.
I love tradie TikTok, dude. I love tradie TikTok.
So here's the super cool factory where the molten hot metal is coming out super fast, and a bunch of people at the end have to like grab it and like flick it around quickly.
Oh, I literally saw that video yesterday.
Yeah, and then stick it through the next one, right? And it's like they're all coordinated. Yeah, and you're just like, wow, look at that. look doing the hard labor and whatnot. Okay, that's cool. And then of course, while they do that and it's and they skillfully get it in between the rollers, you have the people walking by jumping over the death molten just to because walking like 15 steps that way to go around it, fuck that. Who's got time? Step over the death trap. That would get every one of us killed if you happen to trip up going over
I had to pick a favorite tradie TikTok. It's OSHA violations. Or OH&S violations, just videos of like these guys are doing the stupidest. It doesn't even save any time nonsense. And the other one is guys who post videos, like a lot of welders and a lot of guys who do a lot of grinding, who post videos going, hey, you should wear your head protection. And they post the profile shot of their face, and then they turn the camera, and there's like a 6-inch like piece of rebar going through their welding mask and stopping like 2 inches from their face.
Yeah, man. I love the classics, which is just pan up to scaffolding on the side of a building, pan down to the top of one of the major weight load bearing points on a bunch of wood planks. Just loose wood, you know.
Or like a bag of unmixed concrete that's going to be used for something later.
So I saw 2 of these videos in the same week where a dude is outside with a jackhammer and he's just jackhammering into concrete and like just breaking it up. And he's got a helmet on, he's got some goggles, and just going full breath. just like
you need
Wim Hof.
No, man. You don't want street lung or concrete lung or whatever the fuck.
Breathing in the concrete. And like the person who's filming it is like, yeah, so underneath they put the text going. So I yelled out to the dude, hey, that's super dangerous. You're giving yourself cancer. You're supposed to have somebody to water down what you're breaking into. And the dude's like, it's just dust. It's fine. Mind your business. And then person goes to like the foreman of the site to go like, hey, everyone around this breathing that in is going to be seriously like life-threateningly in trouble if you don't do this properly. And foreman goes, it's just dust. It's fine. I've been doing this for 30 years. What do you know? And it's like, okay.
I know that you're not going to be doing it for 30 more.
Oh my God. And it's just like, you see how much water they have to use to keep that shit down. And even then when they breathe it in, it's kind of still risky at that. Dude's just like, give me all that concrete, baby. It's the hubris.
It's impossible to fix.
Because it's so easy. It's just
Wooly,
like it takes no time. But
I have bad news for you.
You can't be told by someone that is a child that you're unprofessional or whatever the case is, you know. And of course, that's not a job site where that like, what the fuck is insurance? You know what I mean? Like the whole thing.
Lee, I have bad news for you.
Yeah,
you are also a victim of the mentality that will cause this to happen. The number one reason why these guys are doing it is because they don't want to look like a pussy. Because you don't want to look like a bitch. And I remember walking into Rooster Teeth and seeing a bunch of dudes just cattle prodding each other like idiots. And they turned to us, and my brain went, well, I have to get hit with the cattle prod. I'm meeting new people. I don't want to be the only one not calibrated. And I took the hit first, and I looked over at you, and I saw the gears turn in your head where you don't want to be the only guy in the room that hasn't been tagged by the calibra. And you went, yeah, all right. And then they zapped you, and then we all laughed about it. There's no escape from this type of like group think, like social dynamic.
If it's good enough for Johnny Knoxville, then it's good enough for me, I suppose. Man.
And because it was something that wouldn't like harm you, right?
Yeah.
It wasn't like, let's jump over an alligator pit.
Hey, the promising billion subs YouTube future requires you to put the pot on your head and do the Homer versus Bart. Right? Just put the pot on your head. It'll be fine. And then it'll all pay out, you know? Anyway, I also feel like there was the game where you have to jump from one table to the other. I forgot what that was called, but there was a like there was one of those things where they would like be like, oh, the floor is lava type of thing. And and you know, and I'm kind of just thinking, I'm like, one bad trip into the edge of a table underneath the jaw right here, and that's an internal decapitation. Like that's that shit that's a freebie.
I slipped coming out of the shower like a couple months ago in like an awkward way, and like caught myself and like banged my arm on like the corner of like, you know, the vanity. And it hurt really bad. And then I left my body to like examine like what this would have looked like. And I'm like, man, if I had been like a little slower or turned 10 degrees more, I could have hit like my fucking neck or my fucking head on this, and then I'd be dead on my bathroom floor from a oopsie fall.
That's it. That's all it takes. Yep. And I mean, like, I went a bit overboard with looking around the house and thinking about like, okay, what do we have to put the safety stuff on? Because there's a bunch in here, and we've got some time before she's going to be crawling around and even getting mobile.
Don't worry. She'll find the one you missed.
But there's always a crevice somewhere in some way, shape, or form. And
you know what one we missed? I'll just tell you right now. There's going to be a point, and this point will sneak up on you, where when you go to open the fridge, they're now tall enough to get smacked by the fridge door.
Yeah, okay.
So instead of opening up the fridge door and it goes right over their head and you're like, hey, buddy, you're going to hear a noise. And then you're going to hear a deep inhale. And then you're going to hear, ah!
I mean, there's one that I caught. There's one that I caught looking at it that I'm like, you know, this would have been like an easy miss. But the bathrooms I have are barn doors. Yeah. And but the bottom track doesn't really keep it in place. The bottom track kind of is loose. So I'm like, that's a nice little squeezable situation right there if you feel like getting in between it, you know?
Yeah.
But then how do you keep it from doing that? And it's like, oh, well, you can put a metal thing to keep it in place up top, but then that's now a metal thing that if someone's running a little bit too ignorantly can just hit their head into. So do you put a threat to protect against another threat? Anyways,
so hey, here's
all the parents that are friends in life that I've seen to some degree have kind of given up on it and just kind of go,
you baby proof the really dangerous stuff.
Exactly. You do your best, and then you know the rest, fucking dual one, let's rock, you know.
So here's the problem. The problem is that your child doesn't have a good grasp of physics until they're like 15. I've seen my little guy catch a door corner. Wasn't close enough to the center of the doorway going through, and just caught it just right with his face.
I'm just like
just screwed up the distances.
Like zero children have a concept of any physics or gravity until they're like 15. I watched like a 9-year-old do like 5, 8, 900s in front of Tony Hawk the other day, and it's like, yeah, even that child does not understand physics. Like, none of them do.
It's tough, man. It's like your body proprioception is difficult. And like they don't know how big their heads are, so they go to walk under things that they used to be able to walk under, but they can't. So they bonk.
Yeah, but
Like there's really genuinely only so much you can possibly do.
um, the
So
other
it's a teaching moment.
I also remember like what that initial when I was first trying out skateboarding, and I was like, oh man, this seems so dangerous. You're gonna fall. You're gonna get scraped up. So many things can go wrong, and I remember kind of realizing after the first couple falls that it's like, oh yeah, it hurts because you get scraped, but you get used to the overall how to fall thing, and then you know how to like flatten your weight out to not take the worst of it and slam your head into concrete. But also, like, the complexities of falling with or on a bicycle are so much more dangerous because
Yeah.
of all the bars and rotating parts and things you can get caught up in versus just a flat board that, like, you've already been doing the way more dangerous thing your whole life with a bicycle. This is nothing by comparison.
Did me and Paige ever tell you the story of her learning to ride a bike?
No, I don't think so.
So this caused us to almost crash the car when she told me this story. So Paige would get so freaked out and terrified when she was learning to ride a bike that once it got wobbly, she would panic and her brain would just go, I have to get out of here. So her mom was like teaching her how to ride the bike, and once that first wobble happened, she'd go, oh, and like leap off the bike onto the pavement and just go, ah.
Yeah, okay. So I did that with skating with skis. Like,
oh yeah,
I've told this before, right? Because it was like the first time I went with the class on a ski trip, and everyone had skied many times before. I'd never skied, so I had to go to the bunny hill and learn how to do, pizza, French fries, French fries.
Skiing's hard.
It's very hard, and it's
I don't like how people who ski take for granted that skiing is hard.
Skiing is quite hard, and take however difficult you think it is, and let's amplify that, because let's say by default when your feet are facing forward, right? So let's say this is your feet. Where are your knees? Yeah. Where are your knees facing? Forward as well, right? And so you do this, and then you go outward, and then you go inward to speed up and slow down. Okay, my feet are not like that. So when my feet are facing forward, my knees are facing inward because my feet are weird. I have a fucked up thing with my legs where my knees.
I did not know that.
Yeah, that's been the case my whole life. And
you got bendy legs?
I got a weird bendy leg, and it means that when I got clipped in the knees playing football, my shit took a while to heal, and I got fucked up because my knees are not in a normal position. So
wait, they were fucked up before you got hit?
Yeah, they were always like that, right? My knees, okay. I have something where it's way easier for me to make both of my feet face toes in touching each other.
Oh, I literally can't even do that.
Right? Yeah, than it is to go the opposite way. It's just my
I can't do it. It crushes my balls. No, it's not happening.
So I have just a weird natural rotation to my knees. So what that means is when it comes time to speed up and do the pizza, easy, no problem. I can cross those skis over each other. But when it comes time to French fry and slow down, good fucking luck. I can't.
That's crazy.
I have a really hard time getting out to the 45 degrees, much less any further than that, right? So that means skiing is really rough, and I have a hard time all day getting through the process. And it basically, after a full day of trying and failing at it, there was a point where it's like, okay, well, you paid all this money to go on the trip. So are you not going to go up the mountain even once to try? So let me go up, I guess, and try and see what happens. But I have no ability to slow down like everybody else does. All I can do is speed up.
You'll manage.
So cut to me going full speed because I'm in pizza form and just zipping down, and I'm going way too fast now. I can't stop. We're hitting a bank to a turn, and that's a death tree in front of me. So all I can do, because I can't hit the brakes, is literally toss myself onto the ground and bail out and just completely wipe and eat shit, and then get back up and then do the next segment of mountain, and then I'm going too fast. I can't slow down. Throw myself on the ground multiple times until eventually.
Think about how cool you would have been if you had just gone max speed the whole time and then died.
Right, exactly. I could have been the coolest kid, but instead, and my friends would have loved it, but instead what happened was I kept throwing myself on the ground, and eventually that sucked enough, and my whole suit was full of snow, and I was cold, and I was like, this sucks, I hate this, I want to get out of here. So I got basically down to like the halfway point, and sat on my skis and just had to scoot down the mountain.
Yeah.
And as I'm scooting down the mountain, fucking Stefan, the loudmouth, is on the ski lift with all the other kids going back up, going,
yeah. Oh, that's terrible.
As I'm scooting, and I'm just hearing the echo of the voice of them going up the mountain, and fucking Stefan going, look at him, and everyone's like, what? Oh my god, look at him go. And I'm like, shut up, and I'm scooting down the mountain, and fuck that, that's the end of my skiing adventure. Never again. Yeah. Hate it.
No, that you had no shot, man.
It's done.
You had a physical handicap that prevented the proper execution of the skiing.
And the Nelson of the class, the loudest kid, was the one to point it out, to see first.
They're always around
from the ski lift at the exact same time. So there you go. Fuck skiing. Snowboarding, absolutely super cool. You know, because it's basically like skateboarding, and you don't have to do any of that. It's just surfing.
Shit. I got on a skateboard one time. I got on a skateboard my last day of high school. I went to a friend of mine's house, and he had a skateboard. He's like, hey, why don't you try it? I'm like, well, I just finished all my exams, and I'm now officially not a high schooler anymore. Fuck it, why not? So I'll try it. I don't have a lot of confidence here, but I'll try it. And I took one step on it, and it flew right out under my feet, and I landed directly on my hip and sprained my ass, and then I had to walk 3 kilometers home. And I was like, no, I'm done with that.
Yeah.
No.
But didn't you hear the cool Tony Hawk soundtrack in the back of your head?
I was limping for an hour. It fucking sucked.
But you didn't think to yourself, oh man, but I can totally now I can do all those cool Tony Hawk moves and get that soundtrack going. I did not
manage to even stand on the board. Damn. This was not made for me.
Damn. You just gotta hear so here I am getting older all the time.
I know.
While you bust your lip open.
I felt getting older.
Yes.
As I'm limping through my neighborhood.
Younger in my mind, 100%. Yeah. Okay, well, in any case, it is infinitely more dangerous. And then the other thing too that I remember as well is when it comes to bikes, there was someone not in my neighborhood but near the school I went to. There was a girl that got hit and unfortunately died from a crash. But I remember that the description was about how the handlebars turned sideways, and it was just awful. You know, and I'm just like, this bike can be so much worse of a death trap. So to a parent or a mom that's kind of just skateboards are so much more dangerous, it's like, yeah, if you're comfortable with a bicycle,
I disagree. A skateboard is way more dangerous. You can get higher speeds and much better control on a bicycle.
The things that people do on a skateboard tend to be pretty dangerous, and because you're supposed to do cool tricks and stuff, right? Okay, on a bicycle, it's mainly about the transportation, admittedly.
Here's the thing, though. When you're on your skateboard, you're not actually physically holding on to the skateboard.
No, you're balancing.
When you're on your bicycle, you are in fact holding on to the bicycle. There is a very significant difference in inertia when something attempts to remove you from your form of transit.
I would say so.
Be it force or wind or ice.
And I guess the context also matters too, because if you're biking in traffic with other vehicles and stuff versus if you're skating in traffic, you're insane, first of all. So no.
Yes,
but my friends and I were never skating in that context. We were in parking lots and in going to skate parks and shit like that. So it was also removed from the transportation side of things, which I have some friends that would longboard to get around. You know, they kind of jump on.
Oh, I hope bad things happen to them.
They would hit the bike trails and stuff. It was fine ultimately. I had friends back in
that just came out.
Yeah, I know. That's I don't know why, because back in some of the people that from Dawson from the college era, would longboard around as just a means of getting around. And it was fine, ultimately. But
for those of you who don't watch the video version of this show, I am just closing my eyes and squint and just shaking my head in a grimace, just no.
It's
No,
fine.
no.
It's
Longboards,
fine.
no, no.
You hit a bike path, you're good, you know.
Bike paths are for cyclists.
And people on motorized vehicles and things, or people on wheel vehicles and things like that, you know. It's fine. But
Longboard isn't a vehicle, it's a fucking piece of cardboard with some wheels stuck to it.
in any case, I do feel that like that when you are on your bike with your friends getting up to some stupid shit and get hurting yourself, you know, like it is the ways you could hurt yourself are amplified by based on the type of vehicle versus like the skateboard thing.
Yeah.
Kind of like jumping into a shopping cart, right? A shopping cart's going to murder you, but mainly because a shopping cart is not meant for a human being to be in it. So those wheels are absolute dog shit. You know, the bearings are terrible. They're always ungreased. There's always one that's rickety and about to fall off, and then the rest of that shit is going to just fall on top of you. And you know, if you're lucky like me, you get a big scar right in the middle of your forehead from it.
Cool. All my big scars are hidden.
No skull,
like in my hairline.
No skull dents.
Oh, I got some skull dents.
Okay, because those are permanent. Those stay.
Yeah. Like, so people are pointing out that I have like a really dramatic headphone dent, but then I took a much closer look, and it's not even. It's actually way deeper on one side, and I'm like, oh, I think that's like old damage.
You mean like the side curves?
Yeah, so like the goes from like your temples to the top of your head or whatever, right? Like it's way deeper on one side. I'm like, ooh, I think that's like a hit I took at some point actually. That I ignored.
The jelly bean curve.
Yeah, oopsie.
Okay.